Well, the first thing he has to do is accept the resignation of the Prime Minister who lost that confidence vote yesterday. A first, by the way, in the Fifth Republic that a French Prime Minister would be ousted in a confidence vote that they call themselves, as opposed to a no confidence vote, if you were taking notes last December, that ousted Michel Barnier as well. Look, the choice that Emmanuel Macron has is to try again from somebody from his own political grouping, perhaps hoping that they might be better at negotiating with their other MPs in the National Assembly to try and win a majority or build a majority to support a budget, or to pick somebody from outside his political family. And the question has always been whether or not you pick somebody from the centre-left Socialist Party, who said they're willing and available to take part, but they have their own plan of what they want for the budget. Less austerity, a wealth tax, among the other measures that they've proposed as well, and they want to be in control of that policy agenda, which they say they would be. That's the condition to get them on board for a government too. So he has plenty of choices in terms of who he can pick as Prime Minister, but who he can pick that can actually achieve what the last two haven't been able to, much more difficult.
Stephen, there's the politics of this, then there's the economics and the markets effect. And I say market effect, there actually hasn't been very much. And I wonder if you could kind of explain that for us. So here we are again, Macron in the same position he was in just a few months ago, having to kind of find a new prime minister to push this through. And yet we see the CAC 40 up minimally this morning. Very little movement in the markets over the course of this whole travail. Why is that the case?
It's partially because we almost knew the result of this vote when it was announced 2 weeks ago, because it was very clear that Francois Bayrou was not going to be able to build a majority. And even before he called the vote, we knew that things weren't looking good. So quite a lot of it had been priced in already. Now, the CAC 40 is underperforming other European market benchmarks, so you're seeing particular pressure on banks and on domestically focused stocks here as well. So there is a market effect that's already been built in there, and that's sort of just being sustained today. In terms of the bond market spread, we have seen things get a little bit wider with Germany. One of the interesting milestones that happened a little bit earlier, mainly for technical reasons, I should say, but the 10-year French yield did surpass the Italian 10-year French yield very briefly. They're still pretty close, but even that gives you an idea of how investors are perceiving this. This is not a fiscal crisis right now. It is a political crisis. But the danger is you don't resolve that and it becomes a market crisis.
David and I are clueless on this. Stephen, in all the interviews you're doing for Bloomberg, Daybreak, London, are experts suggesting buy France now, given this political upset, to buy the bond for price up, yield lower?
Well, that's the argument, right, is that you're actually seeing quite good value about it. And this is still, remember, the euro area's second largest economy. It is still an economy that is growing, albeit very little. And it is one that does have, if you speak to some economists, very good fundamentals as well in terms of how the labour market is structured, education, technology. There are strengths in there.
Stephen, the money I give Air France could support Marseille for 6 months. David, pick it up.
Stephen, let me close just by asking you about the mood. Of course, you used to live in Paris. You no longer do. You're back visiting. What is the mood just about politics and the current economic predicament? How do things feel relative to how they felt the last time you were there?
I mean, look, people are tired of this, to be completely frank. And it's the same Gallic shrug you're getting from the markets that you're getting from people if you ask them about it here in Paris as well. Yes, there's another Prime Minister, but everyone knows that until there are elections which change things dramatically, is that everyone's going to have the same problem in getting things passed through this National Assembly because it is so fractured. People are mostly focused on the protests. There's a massive protest here organised in France for tomorrow. It's one that's basically been a movement that's developed on social media. People are quite concerned about the risk of potentially there being violence on the streets as a result of that. That's certainly something that the Interior Minister has said. There will be no tolerance of violence. There's a major union protest due for next week as well. People are mostly worried about how they're going to get to work or access public services on those days as well. That's the short-term impact, but it's indicative of how people really are, I suppose, sick, quite frankly, of the uncertainty and looking for solutions.